Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're looking good though.
Oh, thank you.
More
Thank
money,
you.
eh?
You
You are looking good. Your manager is looking good. Your team members are looking good.
We thank God. It's a blessing.
God bless you.
Give thanks.
Yeah, man.
Give
Let me
thanks.
go to Freeman. Coach Freeman,
Yes, sir.
how are you?
I'm good.
The last time we met, we were going to do Singathon.
You see, you were pushing me into Singathon. You should say it the right way.
Wow, we are here again, and today we are going to have a conversation on musical performance.
Mm-hmm.
One area most people dread to actually go because they think, oh, what can be because you see that kind of thing. But today we are going to do that. Now, let me start with you, Coach Freeman, before I come to the artist.
Okay.
So you watched the performances last Saturday. You've
Yeah.
listened to a few of them today.
Yeah.
What is your general impression of these performances?
You know, for a night that's our biggest night in the year, and featuring our biggest artists, it wasn't the greatest showing. You know, it was in fact below average for many of our big, you know, and if it was just for last Saturday, we would let it pass. But this is like something that keeps happening here every year. Every year we have this challenge. How come our top artists are never on top of their game on our best night, our biggest night? This conversation needs to be had.
Exactly. So if you had to pick your 3 top performances on the night, which artists are you going to pick?
Efya stood out for me.
Yeah.
Epixode stood out for me.
Fantastic.
And who else? For me, those two jumped at me.
There was
you know.
Kim Paluta, there was Stoneboy.
Yeah,
there was,
Stoneboy, you know.
Kwabena, there was Akwabwa.
Yeah. But the two that jumped out, you know, if you watch the thing, the two that jump out up at you, Efya jumps out, you know. And the fact that Epixode found a way to still bring some kind of dance hall into the high life, for me, that was impressive. You know, it shows that he's doing his work. You know,
Episode's performance was more than just the musical performance. There was a whole art to it.
There you go.
Yes, and I just want him to explain what he meant, the whole creative process.
So the whole thing started with a call from Big Rob, from TGMA. You know, actually this year I didn't want to perform because, you know, he knows I would have reached out like months before to even tell him this is what I have for the night and give him a scripted performance. That's what I do every year. So it was like, I think 2 or 3 days before the event, I was like, Charlie, what do you think? We were having this idea of trying to Hana Amachidede, and I think looking at the direction you're gearing towards with the high life, it will be a very good look for you. So I was like, oh yeah, why not? So that's what you saw in the video, from a text message to now. The question is, I always ask myself this as a performer. You know, if people want to listen to the song, they'll stay home and listen to the records. Once they are watching you, it has to be something different from what they hear on the song. If it's not better, it shouldn't go below what they hear on the record. And then another thing too that also happened is, I'm asking myself, a very big song like that, which probably might be even older than me, or has even reached crazy audience than I have reached. How am I going to do it? I don't have to do it below the Amachidede standard. Would he like it? Because if you look at our fathers and their records, they cherish them. So, you know, you're careful when you're trying to even do a rendition or even perform their songs. So these were some of the things I was looking at. And also, as an individual and a performer and a creative, anytime I'm built to perform, I know this is one of my secrets, but I will just let them out.
No. Just say it.
So I look at it from this way. Let's say I'm built to perform with 2 A-list artists, or the 2 of our biggest artists. There's always a drawing board for me to look at how they look like, how they always appear. What is their selling point when they're on stage? How do they attack their stage performances? So you would always have me watching stage perform back to back before I go to an event.
Oh.
Yes, even with this one, I had to study watch some of Amachi Dede's perform. That's why when I was performing, you see me doing this.
Yeah,
he does that, and then yay, woo, and all those things. These are some things that comes. Every artist have theirs, and it's very unique with them. So once I'm going on a stage to represent that, I need to add a feel of that to the performance.
Mirroring.
But then again, the question is, how do I also stand out and make that particular moment mine? So that there has to be that episode element in there. That's how come I was able to put the dancehall feel in there. So I put all these artists down. Okay, who is on stage? Efya is on stage. Okay, Stone is on stage.
Yeah.
How would Efya appear? How would Stone appear? Then if I'm not able to make the headlines after an event with a big song, then I need to make a statement with the concept of my performance or with my looks. That's how I attack my performance. So if you've watched my journey very well from like 2015 till now, there's always a concept with my performance. Last year I did for Rude Boy Ranking. There has been a date, I think 2 or 3 years ago, I dedicated it to Rollins.
Okay.
So it's not something that I just started doing. That performance with I did for Rollins, I had a whole military costume with them. You know. Even dated back to S concert like so many years ago. I did for Azuma Nelson, where I came with a fit, a boxer's fit. So as a performer, I study some of these things, because now you would listen to, let's say, you would watch a Rihanna perform in 2024, a Beyonce perform a song she has done like a decade ago, but still sounds fresh like a new song. So what are some of these elements? How do people? Now, one thing too that I have noticed is artists from this side don't really take sound check and all those things serious. So when I go to, like, imagine going to a VGA sound check, you know that different artists, everybody they watch you. I'm not there to show you what I really want to do, but just to make sure that I'm hearing myself, all the monitors are okay. And then when I'm okay with that, I just let it go, because I have mastered that craft of trying to perfect every 1 second I'm giving on stage to make a statement. So regardless of the fact, if I was given 10 minutes, I was still going to, if I was given a different song, I was still going to prove myself. But then the question is, how would you stand out of big names like Kwabna, High Life legends? And I just started like 2 years ago with this
doing High Life
direction. Exactly. You're talking about Indo, who has got an amazing rap skill. Akwabwa, who is a master in that space. So what would you do to add a different to it? And that's how come the episode element came in there.
Fantastic. But you being an artist, I saw the whole costume with Amachi Dede. How did you come by that concept? And when did you do that prior to the...
It was a day before.
Just a day before?
Yes. A day before.
So the video is telling the real story.
Yes. It was a day before. So what happened is, because, and Big Rob would testify to that, anytime I'm built to perform on VGMA, months before, I even send him a scripted concept of what I want to do. So my planning actually starts from then, what I'm going to wear, with everything, the band, how to like proper planning. But because I had just like a day or two to plan, and it was up until even the final day that we got a clearer picture of how the whole thing was going to be, because all the artists had not met to see who's going before who and all of those. So it was sound check. So now I'm asking myself, I have 2 days. What would I do? What can I do? How do I look like? How do I want to stand out? So me as an artist go like, okay, I was actually working on the merch for Nkrumah, which had a pattern like that.
All right.
I'm like, okay, why not do something like that? My idea was to get an autograph from Amachi Dede after the performance, to get him sign that shirt so that I get to keep it. You know, so I reached out to one of my guys who does my printing of the fabric, and it wasn't painted; it was actually a whole fabric printed.
Wow!
And I have my team put together they had to sew it quick. But the thing is, you know, funny enough, my team didn't even see the whole thing before it was on stage that they got to see the costume.
Are you serious?
Yes. Because, you know, sometimes I'll be stubborn like that. They'll tell me, don't do it, and I'll do it. So, this one, baby knows what I'm talking about.
Ideally, how long should it take for you to prepare for a show? Weeks, days, hours?
It depends on which event.
90 days.
90 days.
Standard.
Coach Freeman says
Standard to prepare for. See, the process that prepares you for performance is more important than the performance.
Yes.
So standard, you spend 90 days
90.
Wow.
for a stage for a
That's
for a,
three-
for a proper
3 months.
Yes, nothing less. But if you don't have time, you shouldn't spend anything less than 21 days. 21 days is a standard because in 21 days you can form a habit or break a habit.
Yeah.
Wow. But here lies the case where TGMA reached him how many days to the event?
Yeah, but then you see that becomes
A week before, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Finalization was like
Yeah.
Yeah, but then that's where the concept of being an artist, the artist development part of you is there, because you are supposed to be training regularly. You're
Okay.
supposed
Yeah.
to be ready
Yes.
to
For
perform, because it's a case of preparation meeting with opportunity. If you are not ready and the opportunity comes, you are going to disgrace yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't wait for a gig before you rehearse.
No, you there. That's why Beyonce is still taking vocal lessons. It's not she's literally the biggest artist, but she still takes voice lessons, takes dance lessons. All the old people. It's not for anything, because being an artist, a creative, don't forget, the hardest thing a creative person can do is follow routine.
Yes. That's true.
That's why they have people they pay to keep them disciplined and hold them accountable. So until we learn that this is why is Mercy still training with the other guys, even though he has won all the awards? Because to stay fit, you need to be kept disciplined, held accountable. If not, you feel like, Charlie, I can do this. Don't worry, you guys go, I'll meet you later, And that's what we keep doing in our music thing. The sports people have figured it out. But we, the musicians, still think that we can sleep, wake up anytime and go and sing. But the vocal cords are a set of muscles, just like,
So you have to train.
and singing involves a coordination of muscles all over the body. So you need to be training. You need to be checking. And you can't just sit down there, sing the way you like, clap for yourself and leave. There are standards. That's why you need to find somebody who can hold you against the standards. And then you can be comfortable that, okay, at least based on this. In every field, it is the faculty that gives you the degree.
Yeah.
You don't give yourself the degree. It doesn't matter how much you read.
No.
You have to pass through a faculty. There's a standard, there's a scheme, there's a criteria you meet. Then they'll say, yeah, you are in top shape, or you are at this level, or at this level, which allows you to know where you stand, so that it can allow you know what to do when you find yourself in certain situations.
Before I come back to Epixode, Coach Freeman,
Yes.
must every artist perform live?
Yes.
Every
Why?
artist?
Yes. See, I know there are studio artists. However, if you check the concept of art in the original 7 liberal arts is divided into 2 major categories.
Okay.
Depictive art and performing arts. In depictive art, we have stuff where people make paintings, take pictures, make videos, sculptures, and all that stuff to depict, But in performing arts, where it involves singing, dancing, and anything that has to do with acting, the office of such people is the stage. You must train for the stage. The reason why the studio is not your office is because that's why they don't pay you there. When you go to the studio, you pay. They pay you for being on stage, not for being in the studio, or not for shooting a music video. Those things, that's why the pay that comes from a music video is smaller than the one that comes from the stage. So the stage is your office. So you must learn how to master that environment, or else you will never ever really know your true or show your true potential.
But coach, can't you do that by playing instrumentals or maybe singing over the lyrics?
Yeah, but
That's also on stage.
We already have mediums doing that. Well, but that's elementary. Isn't that what the secondary school people do? If you want to become a professional, give you an example. If you play golf, before they even clear you, you must have hit at least 10,000 balls.
Wow.
And I keep asking our artists, so how, where's our 10,000 balls? Where do we measure the thing from? How many hours have you spent in preparation? Like I told you, like I mentioned earlier, the process that prepares an artist for performance is way more important than the performance. Why? The process is longer. The performance is just sometimes, how many minutes did you spend on stage?
TGMA? About 2 minutes, huh?
3 minutes.
Yeah.
But you need to master the process so that, it gives you an overall control, because the live stage is a different place from the studio. The studio is a controlled atmosphere. Everything is padded. So anything that happens there can be tampered with, fixed, So all the effects can be done. You don't have to do the work. But on stage, it's what is inside that comes out. You can't give what you don't have.
Joy 99.7 FM, the superstation, Showbiz A-Z, and I'm here with Coach Freeman, Epixode, Robert Klah, and KOD. Kofi Okyere Darko.
That's Mewe.
Yeah.
KOD.
Broadcaster, event MC, fashionista, founder of 1957. Big
see you,
bro.
bro.
Yeah, good to be here. Yesterday we met
always.
somewhere.
I know, right? Yeah. They're doing our thing.
You see. Now let me take you back to Saturday last week at
Yes,
the
sir.
conference center. You watched all these performances.
I did.
Your top three.
Yeah. Not because it's in here, but Epixode obviously is in top 3, and I didn't expect anything less of him on stage. Efya put up an amazing performance as well. I think somehow because of his consistency and how often he performs on stage, I don't even want to put him as part of this. I'm talking about Stonebwoy here.
Okay.
So for me, the third person.
There was Kwabena Akwabua. There was Eno Baroni.
Oh, Eno killed it for me. And I think one of Nasi as well.
Nasi.
So I can't
Nasi.
do 3. I can do 4. I'd have to put Nasi in there. No, I can't do 3. I can't do 4. I have to put
Oh,
Nasi
you can do
in
5
there.
or 6.
And but there's something. I was listening to the conversation on my way here. Do we really blame the musicians entirely?
No.
Coach Freeman was saying that preparation actually starts like 90 days before the event. But you actually didn't give a total breakdown of the 90 days. It actually starts with your physical fitness.
There you go.
How often are you going to the gym to exercise, train your voice, psych yourself for what's ahead of you. Breath management and what have you. But then there's also something we should realize that it's not all our musicians that are meant to be on stage for live performances. We should also know that. You could be an amazing singer in the booth, releasing countless hit tracks in your lifetime, but you're probably not meant to be on stage. And there are quite a number of musicians that over the years, and it's not just in Ghana, across the world, we force on stage because there's an audience there that wants to see him. Lumba is a great musician. The guy has probably the biggest repertoire in the whole of Ghana, but he's never done well on stage before. Lumba's never had a good day on stage.
I beg to
You beg to differ.
I beg to differ.
With Lumba's example,
Yes,
or the general.
and I understand that because
No, I lived with him.
Yeah, I understand.
He won't get on the road to go run ahead of an event.
Good.
He won't go for rehearsals. He probably
Exactly.
not even
That's my
probably not
point.
even sound check.
My point is exactly that. If he's not willing to pay the price,
Yes.
he's not going to.
But what I'm
look
saying,
good
what
on
I
stage.
said was, there are people. There's an audience there that wants to see him.
Exactly.
So we force him on stage, not because he wants to be there.
No, because now here's the thing about performing arts. As soon as you create a work of art that is lovely, the people want to meet who created it. that place that forces you, that automatically puts you in your office. They pay to come to your office. The stage is your office.
Yeah, obviously.
So they pay to come to your office
maybe
to meet you.
Maybe the office is from the stage to where the music is actually distributed. That's also part of your office.
I understand. Yes. However, the place that people have always been trained to meet you, the performer, is the stage. And why I'm saying this is, we don't always have to. One of the things that we don't understand about the live stages, there are so many ways to interpret music.
Of course.
Okay. So many ways. You know, it could be an acoustic kind of situation.
Of course.
He could use, soundtracks.
Yeah,
He could,
stems.
but yes, stems and all that stuff. But the point of the matter is, the stage is a crazy place. The stage cannot be controlled.
Okay.
You have to befriend the stage every time. You understand what I'm saying?
You ought to be in charge of the stage.
You have to know certain things before you climb the stage.
Yeah.
That's true.
So if you don't do it,
last
like
Saturday's stage was one huge one, huh?
good.
Very.
And then I wanted to add this. One of the things that we teach people is you must develop the emotional intelligence to separate who you are from what you do. Our artists don't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
If they were coming for training, they will understand that no, I'm actually you can't go on stage.
Yeah.
So we have to create a vocal archetype for you that
Okay.
you can take on stage.
Oh. Okay.
You need to be able to separate who you are from what you do. When you're on stage, you're what you do. That's what has helped everybody. If not, Michael Jackson would never have been able to
He's
perform.
by nature a very shy person.
Good.
Yeah.
So we must understand that there are ways this thing happen, but we must want to learn it.
That's why there's a Sasha Fierce and there's Beyonce.
There
Exactly.
you go. There you go. So if he knew that, Charlie, no, come, let's create a vocal archetype. Let's create a character for this voice. What do you think? What's in your mind when you create these songs? Because the creative process, you are free, you are flying, but the real you is withdrawn.
Really laid back.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
laid back. So if we can find that, then we fine tune it. That's where the artist development part comes in, because you have to find a character that you can.
So
bring on
there's an
stage.
element that's really essential in this conversation: artist development.
Yes.
And that
And who
really-
champions that?
Should be championed by the team, not the artist himself. He should be instrumental in getting that done, but there should be a team of people who are playing different roles. I mean, if you look at Epixode, per what he was saying, he's actually the architect of everything that we see on stage, because he's a typical 360
creative.
creative.
Yeah.
So you won't expect anything less from someone like Epixode. I mean, we're actually working on a collection together.
Oh, wow.
So that's the kind of thing you'd expect from someone like him. But for a typical musician, he knows that, okay, Charlie, myself, I dey go on stage, but I don't even know what I want to wear.
Good. So which begs the conversation that we should start asking questions. How good are our management? How good are the artist managers and the trainers? Do they know what
Let me come to Epixode. Epixode. Is it a matter of financial constraint in getting all these things done for you as an artist?
Well, I think personally, I'll speak for myself.
Yes.
You see, the episode you see today, or like what I did, the 3 minutes I spent on stage is like 30 years of my life.
Okay.
Of the process. And I got this better because as at when I was starting, I didn't have anybody to do it for me. So you want somebody to shoot a video for you. You approve the person, they are not giving you what. So I'm like, but it's just a software. So I would learn it. You want somebody to design something for you. So it was me sacrificing all those years to master a little bit of every part. Because I'm asking myself, if I still don't have a label, we're a team working. So with a big budget that labels want to spend on a project, I can, or our team can do that. How do we go like a halfway? Then okay, I'm going to take, like the video you saw, actually shot it myself, edited it myself, graded it myself.
Yeah, he does all
with a little gadget that we had to purchase. So imagine we have all the big budgets to do that. It would have been a bit easy then, but because I know nobody will be there to do it for me, I had to learn it. So for me, yes, the financial part plays a role, but the question too is the artist himself really ready to look at the longevity of his craft also
career?
Exactly. You understand?
Yeah.
Because some people just, okay, Charlie, I have a big song. The people know the song already. So if I go on stage, if they play the song now, then go jam.
Yeah.
You understand? people don't look at, but me personally, there has been shows that I go to, or like 80% of the shows, you would not have me sitting backstage in a corner somewhere waiting to perform. I'm always sneaking somewhere in the corner watching the artist before me, because that is going to actually inform what I'm going to do on stage.
How to follow,
you get me?
With the next energy.
Exactly. So if the artist goes on stage, I watch, Charlie, maybe crowd now is slow or how. They will change formation quick. DJ, instead of starting with this song, let's go with this.
You feel the mood of the audience.
Exactly.
You read your audience.
So I'm always careful, and then after that,
Kwame, Epixode, not to cut you, if you look at the VGMAs, for instance, I think we're also, as an audience, used to experiencing only hyper performances. Let me put it that way.
Yes,
from all musicians. It should not be the case.
Yes.
It should not be the case.
Yes.
Kwabena started his performance with that's a very mellow soundtrack. How do you even move to that? And I think he did justice to it.
Yeah.
The only thing Kwabena didn't do was to own the song. He performed it
just as a machi,
just like a machi, which is a very safe thing to do as a musician.
Yeah.
You know, he was just safe. But an audience would expect everyone to put up a performance like Epixode.
Yeah.
You know, like we're there, we want to be entertained. No, that's not it. That's why we have like different genres of music.
I agree with you, and I think to help educate our audience, the media has to begin to play a role in balancing this mindset, so that
which mindset?
The mindset that every active artist must come and
like
all
should
over
be
the
like
stage.
a jumpy performance.
You know, like get energy like the energy.
Yeah, no.
And because a good number
depends
of
on the
our
song as
artists,
that's his style.
Yeah. I work with a lot of artists. You know that already. A good number of them are better when they are flowing.
Yeah.
You know, either on a slow or mid-tempo beat. But they are so scared of, whenever they find themselves on the stage or in the marketplace, so to speak. Everybody, and if everybody has come, how do I do? And then sometimes organizers should understand. Find out.
Organizer, please listen.
Yeah, find out the artists. Bring the slow ones up. Arrange it in such a way that this is what you're coming to do. Okay, you start.
A climax.
Yeah, so that it builds up.
Crescendo.
These are all part of the things that come together to make a show work.
Wow.
Wow.
Organizer,
Robert,
you want to talk?
I know. I heard about like 1 week Epixode getting that call. And as of like Monday or 2 days before the event, I will blame you for that one, Robert.
Robert Klah.
Listen, if they don't get to rehearse together, like a proper dress rehearsal together, how do you expect like 100% performance?
So Robert wants to speak. Robert,
I understand where you're coming from.
Robert, we own the venue. We have to set up days ahead.
No. It's not about venue.
It's part of it.
No.
If the venue is not ready, you can
right
rehearse.
now you're moving to another place. Relax. Okay, so you see, there was a concept, and the concept was to find one person who would do the tribute, and then you finish. And then later on I was like, there's one person I know they will kill it too, no problem. But no, something I want multiple people.
Yeah. Plus the guy has many songs.
Good. And I had to now go back and make a case for multiple people. So back and forth. And then at some point it felt like, okay, you work with 2 people. And I'm like, no, still. So if you get back to the office, you'll say I was very, very stubborn on this particular project.
Wow.
So
but you're right.
And then I was like, nah, I needed something. I wanted high life folks, but I wanted people who had more than high life, so that they can give it a modern feel because of the nature of the way we consume music at the moment. And that is why some of the people were contacted at the time they were contacted, because I still needed to make a case for it.
Okay.
Now, in addition to that, when you know the amount of time you have, then you focus on people you know who can deliver.
Yeah.
Because Epixode
exactly. Deliver.
Ready.
And so
ready.
So we spoke the week before, and then he immediately jumped into the kind of song he wants to do, and then that kind of stuff. At that point, I knew, okay, good, this guy go fit it. That was the week before. Then I started working on the others, and so you have to understand the strength of the folks you're dealing with, and then how everything is supposed to come together. And then I even got back up in terms of production, so that I would go. So I got Andy to piece up the songs for us to see what it meant, and then we now started engaging. And then we worked with, the schedule in terms of what we had. Yes, like you're saying, these are back end things that you never really know. But at the end of the day, once they came through and then they did the rehearsal, I'm like, this is what I was talking about. Then they even came to blow it up on the nights, even extremely, beautiful. So I understand all the elements, but sometimes these things will happen. For example, we're talking about King Promise last minute featuring. What's the name of this guy? Olive the Boy, and that's what that verse is a beautiful verse when a new song is released. So artists and last minute, sometimes you are looking for that thing and you can't find. And if it can come last minute, it's not like that's the plan. That every day you're there, you're waiting last minute. No, these things do happen. So it's just one of those. But Epixode came to nail it. But I think that the conversation has clearly taken shape and taken form. I just want to bring.
No. Before you go on, what's the maximum time you give to an artist prior to they performing on the night?
What's the maximum time?
As in prior to the performance, apart from Epixode and the High Life people's arrangement, the other performers, what time did you give them prior to the performance? Like as in,
like what time?
When you booked them,
Oh, some you can book them like ahead of time. Some
you can. Like, what did you do?
No. It could no. There are some were booked like 4 weeks or 5 weeks. Others others had different time schedule. In fact, this particular year we had to change our dates. So we even missed some of the people that we wanted them to be on the platform, and because when our initial schedule was for 4th May. And then we now had to move to 1st June. And so everything had to change. So it wasn't every act. But those that we were sure of, we just kept them on. And then the rest we had to, align eventually. So it was that blend.
Who provides props or, let's say, musical instruments for the artist?
So what we do, well, we work with the technical crew who are able to, source all the elements and put it there. And then everybody comes to work with it. That's how we do it.
So like an artist can request for certain things to be provided for them.
If it is required, yes, obviously those are the things you'd want to do. So for each act,
and every artist brings their rider.
That's
standard.
Yes, but he said if it is required. Is it that the artist brings the rider, but you decide if it is required or not?
No, so that's when I say if it is required is there are standard things that you provide. But if for any reason what is being provided will not work for you, or in terms of what you want to do, something else needs to be provided, then we get into it. All the way into props. And then even dancers in certain cases. Like there are a number of things. But what we do is we get the artists, we discuss concepts. And then you go into, so some of the artists were like, let's discuss concepts, and then they begin to work on their stuff. Then our creative team will also work on something. And then we come and sit down and we're like, okay, this is what you guys have, this is what we have. And then we merge the elements and we tell you what we want, why we want you to do what you're doing. In certain cases, we even select the songs for you. And tell you this is what we think would work. But you would have to agree to it that this is what you really want to do. And in some cases, they would come and tell you, okay, I'll do this song, but I also want this other song. Because sometimes if you don't take care, you have a huge stage and you get everybody doing new songs, and the audience are waiting for songs that they know. So you have to, and then they're just doing. So sometimes you get into the conversations to discuss exactly what they want to do in terms of the song, because some people are paid to be there. Yes, we advertise your brand, but they also want to hear the songs that they also know, and then they can connect to that kind of stuff. So those conversations are held, and then from there we get into working together in terms of what needs to be changed, what needs to be added. Sometimes you tell some artists, look, you have just 8 minutes to do this. You come back and they are doing 60 minutes. You're like, no, you know, go work.
I think that work happens because of the audience, appeal to their performances. They get carried away.
Exactly.
Let me tell you something.
The response from them.
When Amachi was on, was Amachi didn't meant to sing?
He was meant to give. He was meant to sing after at the end, like when
he received the.
And then after that he's off. you know. But we didn't.
but what happened?
No.
And what happened was, how much did they saw the audience? An audience that was
He got charged
we
up.
decided to do the whole song, which is about 9 minutes.
He got charged up.
Yeah, and if you're performing a song like what we saw on stage, it means it's like 15 minutes. So.
Serious.
But then that's where this conversation of artist development must come. Our artists must learn that discipline.
No, but you know,
but
in
in all fairness, let me just say
in that situation.
Let me say this to
Okay.
buttress what Freeman is saying. You see, and I've been saying this over and over again. We don't have a music business school, or we don't have schools that basically understand these things, and so because of that, or you end up having acts, and there's something missing. That artist development phase, you know, it starts early, but there is, for most people, there's no structure to it. So they don't have a guide, or they don't have like a syllabus that clearly says these are the various pointers. Make sure you've worked on your voice. Make sure you understand what stage acts means. Make sure you understand how to use the cameras. Make sure you understand how to use stage. Make sure you understand how the emotional intelligence on stage. If you are singing, somebody can shout.
Don't be distracted.
Don't be distracted. Then there are several things you are supposed to train yourself on, and just be there, ready for this. And these
I'd like
things.
to suggest something to Robert.
Okay,
I think
do that.
Charterhouse should collaborate with some of us so that we can create seminars and workshops for these things, because the information is there. We've just not been able to come together to disseminate.
So
it.
aside from going to music business school,
Yes,
we can do some of these things
just do
in the interim.
as something.
I mean,
let's do it.
throughout the
The summit is coming up now.
I know, right?
It's coming
Yeah, that
up
could be
on
part of
the
the summit.
first.
Add it.
Exactly.
So it's one session could actually
Robert,
be
one of the
this.
challenges we've had with the summit over the years is, especially for the A, B listers, they feel
They wouldn't
they're
show
already
up.
there, so
No,
they
don't
show
come.
up. You only find the underground.
They
musicians
don't
who
show up.
make way
So let's
who
keep
show up.
let's keep working with the underground, because eventually
So
they'll
they-
become the
okay.
future.
Let me come to Epixode. Why don't your colleagues attend such
I bet he
events?
can't answer for them.
Answer for them. maybe you've
Answer
spoken
for
to
myself. Answer for myself. If I'm in town,
them. Yeah, you'll be there.
I show up. Now I'm one of the few. Okay, I can't speak for anybody, but all my fathers know that I'm that person who call you on a regular day and say, "Daddy, I dey do this thing. What you dey think? I want to do this. What you dey think?" Yesterday, me and him were somewhere. Everybody was partying, but we were actually talking about music business.
Something else. Okay.
In a space where you would actually have to be drinking or having fun.
The two of us were drinking water.
That's true.
But there is time for
No,
everything.
You know?
the two of you are drinking water.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're referring to me and him.
I don't know what you were doing. I was talking about people
I don't know
having
what you
fun.
were doing.
People having fun.
Drinking.
You know?
Yeah.
So for me,
You changed.
Charlie, I changed.
Oh, but you
I
should
think-
have announced it.
I know.
Drop the communique. Let's do
The
it.
last time was last
So
Saturday.
you were talking music business.
yes.
Yeah.
In a space that is not
People were
really,
turning up.
you understand? So for me, I'm always eager to learn something new. I'm always doing researches. If there's no available space for me to go to a seminar, I also have to equip myself so that when I get to the big table when those conversations are happening, I can also speak or add my vibe to it,
Kwame, the rule of thumb is this: teaching may stop, but learning never ends.
Exactly.
Learning
And there are
is
so
a
many ways of
lifelong thing,
acquiring knowledge
I
in
think
this.
one of the biggest information about our industry. We know it, but somehow we don't.
The proactiveness to handle it.
Music is the biggest team sport in the world.
Okay.
It's the biggest team sport. So when people sit down and think that they can just do things on their own, or we all sit down in our little corners and refuse to come together to collaborate, this is why we are not moving as fast as we should, because it's a team sport. Until we begin to think of it like that, we will have issues. Because every year we have the same complaint. It's not just this year. So how come 3 months to the event, they don't call, people like us say, okay, you guys come together. Now let's start this. And by the time we have done maybe 60 days, we look at the guys who have participated and have grown through the thing. Then you put them as a reward on stage because you know they will deliver. Certain things must change. I'm thinking, there was a time I was trying to suggest that, for Artist of the Year, at least you should have been able to do 12 live shows within the year.
Those are part of the requirement.
You understand?
It doesn't state the number of shows, but it's
but at least a number, so that at least you can. It doesn't have to be a full house or anything, but that process prepares you, because every time you mount the stage, there's something new. Every time you sing your song, you find a way to reintroduce it, re-communicate it. As soon as we put certain criteria in place, standards will rise. But if we leave it like that, we'll be struggling.
Okay, I want to get into an area of people singing off key. Were you done with your submission?
No, so I what we're discussing, most of them is about the reason, like the rationale, why we need to do what we're doing.
Okay, so finish with us so I get into this area.
In some of the cases, we mentioned a few, but I wanted us to dwell more on the specifics, like in terms of the areas we need to be able to focus on. So I have like
Robert likes writing.
Hey,
oh yeah, I just don't want to eat things. You know what I mean?
you go ahead.
Okay, so I think for me the dynamics of a performance, one of the key things you first of all need to note is, the background is there is we have a recording artist, and then we have performing artist.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Studio bit. So the recording, it happens. You can edit it, you can polish it, you have second, third, fourth, fifth opportunity to do it again. You probably have zero audience. If it's not released, nobody hears it, blah, 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 and all of that. Performing artist, different story. Instant consumption of your music happens. Instant condemnation or praise. Instant justice is given once you perform. And that is the part that usually, a lot of people don't focus on. Because you see, I love you, I like you, I now want to hear your music, but with you in the picture. And that means you need to be able to perform it. It's an opportunity for you to be able to perform a different rendition, not necessarily what's on CD, because if it's CD, I'll listen. But if it's an opportunity for you to show the artistic side of it, because every artist, you probably have 5 ways of doing something and then you choose one. So but what happened to the 4 other ways? So you can give us acoustic, you can give us something with choir whatsoever, but it's an opportunity for you to be able to impress. Unfortunately, once you flop in that particular area, if you don't take care, it impacts the other angles that really matters. So I think the dynamics for me in terms of things to look out for: one, the song itself, like we just mentioned. Are you going to sing the same thing, remix, whatsoever? Are you singing a portion of it? Are you adding something? And then the act, the concept. What exactly are you going to do in terms of beginning to end? What happens to it? How does it start? Everything about the stage and everything. Then choreography. People don't usually do this, but when we say choreography in this particular case, how do you start? Where are you standing when the song starts? At the middle part of the song, where are you standing?
Beginning,
where are you
middle,
going?
and end.
Yeah, ending. What happens in between them? What are you doing? This part of the song, when the chorus is going, what are you doing? It's a blend.
Robert, you know what? If you don't stop you now, you will finish the whole show. You will finish the whole show, because
what Robert is saying is essential.
Yeah, but he's
an event
we will come to all that, all the angles, choreography, and all those things, costuming and all that. But let's go on the phone lines right now and speak to Efya. Hello, Efya.
Hi, darling.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic, by God's grace.
Let me say congrats to you. You put up a spectacular performance last Saturday at the TGMAs. It was beautiful. And everybody in here is actually giving you props, thumbs up.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure, and I'm grateful. Thank you so much to everybody that was part of that production itself. It took a lot of beautiful minds to bring everything together. Shout out to my music director, Kiki, and everybody at Charterhouse and everybody on my team. I believe that we gave a very iconic performance that would be etched into everybody's memory for a very long time.
How much preparation went into this performance?
We used a week to get ready for it, because I had just got back from London. So I went straight into production. I was rehearsing almost every day for like the whole week before the event. And then we finally got to do some dress rehearsal. Like that was like 2 days of it. And then a little bit of this here and that, just checking and going to the studio, making sure that the backing vocals, tracking, everything was on set with the band that we put together also. So it was quite, it was a little tedious, but it came together in the end. I'm grateful.
Typically, when you are booked for a show, what do you go through before the day for you to mount the stage?
Most of it is a lot of rehearsal, we try to rehearse at least once a week because most of the time we're on the move with the band. But most of the time when we have something specific like this, it's put together with the production team and my music production team also for us to see what will be the best way to execute the mission, So it depends on what kind of event it is, but a lot of work goes into it regardless.
How do you get your audience involved in your performance? How do you hone that craft?
I think for me, it would be a lot of practice and also being specific about knowing what your audience is and what it is you're trying to present to them on that particular occasion. The VGMAs has been a platform that I have been able to exhibit my talents a lot. So whenever I'm given the opportunity, I make sure that I involve the crowd because it's because of the fans that we're there. So, and I think most of the time people love to see me on stage. So, because I give off this kind of energy.
Have you ever had a situation where you were performing and the audience wasn't responding to your performance?
Not in recent times, but I'm sure, when I was coming up, a lot of people were not receptive to me on stage because of the kind of music that I was doing. But because right now the market is open for all kinds of genres of music, even if you're doing jazz, you have people that are going to love it.
There is something about your voice, and everybody knows it. Most times we see other artists on stage, they go off key and all that. How do you make sure you always stay in key and deliver?
I practice a lot. Yeah, I think it's the practice. Before we go on stage, right, Kiki will let you basically go through the set with your words and know every move you're trying to make, where this comes, where this goes, where you come in with the dancers, and all of those things. Those things should be something that's meticulously arranged in your brain in a certain way. And the only way that you can be great at something is by practicing it over and over and over. So I practice a lot, especially when it's a performance that has different definitions that are associated with it.
KOD and Coach Freeman mentioned being healthy, as in exercising. Your cardio is very important, so you don't go panting. Do you go through such exercises as well?
I mean, I'm naturally very fit, but I work out when I need to.
Wow, that's impressive. Okay, there is an aspect of performances, as in costuming. What informs what you wear before you mount the stage?
With this particular performance, because in the end I was gonna do a split, which I did. Those kind of things define how the outfit is gonna be. It has to be comfortable. It has to be something that if you do that split, you don't want it to say. Because in front of the whole nation, that would be very, very crazy.
That would be serious. You'd be in the headlines.
I swear. So you have to put into consideration all of those kind of things. Those things come together to make what the outfit is going to be. Your movement, you coming from all the way up there, how the dress is going to look when the lights hit the outfit, and what kind of impact you want people to have when they see you for the first time, all the way to the time that you leave the stage. So all of those things are taken into consideration.
Tell us about your entry. How symbolic is it to your performance?
I mean, the angels have the voice, and we, as musicians, as artists, somebody with a voice like mine would be seen as somebody that is a gift to the world. So I think that was a metaphor for how God has been able to bless me so that I can bless my fans and everybody else with the gift that he has given me. And so I think, it's kind of like saying the fact that we're grateful to God for giving a Ghanaian woman this kind of voice that she can use to amplify Ghanaian music all over the world. And we do believe that she is definitely a gift from God. So, ascending from all the way up there into the people to show us, a metaphor of just saying that I am also grateful, knowing what it is that God has given to me, and I will do everything in my power to use the talent to his glory also, and also to magnify Ghanaian music all around the world.
What advice do you have for up-and-coming artists who look up to you in terms of performances?
I mean, bro, it's not easy, but you have to practice a lot and rehearse a lot and take into consideration every aspect of the performance. It's not just about you standing there and, you know, entertaining people. You are transparent energy. And with that, you should know that you're holding something that's very valuable, and take your craft seriously. If you take your craft seriously, people are also going to take you serious. Because I take my craft serious, that's why if I go anywhere and they know that I'm performing, it's like the technical has to be right, the band has to be on point, the mic has to be on point, everything has to be great so that I can be at my highest level of, you know, purity. And it's like, I want that. And I think everybody that wants to be an amazing performing artist should also take that into particular interest.
Thank you very much, Efya, for your time this afternoon right here on Showbiz A-Z. We appreciate this.
Thank you so much, darling. God bless you. Big up to all the fans out there. I'd like to do a little announcement. I am looking for upcoming producers and songwriters all around the country, giving them opportunity to work with me directly. So if you know that you have that source, hit me up. My DMs are open. I'm going to put out an advert today on my socials. So if you even have any recommendations, you can send it to me, especially female producers and songwriters. I would love some of those. So I'm using your platform to send a message out there. I'm looking forward to it. You guys send me some source. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, Efya. Okay, so
God bless you.
That was Efya right there. In-house, I have KOD, Epixode, Coach Freeman, and Robert Klah. Now, let's get talking again. Let's talk about the off-key thing. Let me start with you, Coach Freeman. So some of the artists were on stage and they were singing off-key. What causes that?
I think not mastering, not knowing your voice. You know, music has a language. We call it music language. And it is out of this music language that chords are formed to make music. So essentially, every vocal artist are supposed to understand those things and know how to sing them. A typical chord will be made up of do, mi, and so, 1, 3, 5. Now, in that 1, 3, 5, any good singer should be able to find do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in there. So we encourage artists to learn the arpeggios of scales.
Please, what is arpeggio?
Arpeggios.
Because it will be Dion.
Right, yeah, so
because Madame will be a friend Apache.
I'm coming there.
It's arpeggio, Apache.
So a chord is a combination of notes, right? So a chord is a combination of notes, musical notes, and the arpeggios is when you break them down.
Okay.
You know, when you break the chords, then you will be able to identify the notes within the chords. Now, if you practice and you understand the scale, like the major scale, a scale is a set of musical notes in ascending and descending order of 8 notes. And the most popular is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, you know. But then they have modes, because every time you hold down music, there's a shade, there's a tone. Music is strange. Let me give you an example of why music is interesting. All the numbers, all the billions and trillions of numbers in this world come from 10 digits. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Most of the musical notes, and the same number is to infinity, right? Most of our musical notes come from do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Now, in between, we have what we call intervals, which are the smallest distance in between them. Then you hear the minors. We call them minors, like half of the full notes.
Okay.
You know, and in these things, these are the modes. So all you need to do as an artist, you need to understand that language. Just like we understand the alphabets and phonics. That's why we can speak English. That's why we can read. You know, when you understand alphabets and the phonics, then phonation takes place. If you put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters together, then you can pronounce them. If you are a singer and you don't know this thing, you are going to go off key. Not because you don't know how to sing, but because you are not in control of your vocal register. Every singer should have a register that contains this thing that they can sing with. Now we have other, like I said, there are modes which give them shades. But then we have other scales where these notes feature in different ways. We have the pentatonic scale, which is 5 notes of this. And it's amazing. We have...
there are moments as a singer you can think about a high note in your head, but you can't bring it out.
Yes, good.
It is playing in your head.
That's why I started learning to play the sax.
Exactly. And why do you do that? You know that you will never ever be sure of.
Did you see my post
note
after the event?
Yes. So you will never ever be sure of the notes you can sing until you sing it. If you don't vocalize it,
and
everything
if you are trying to sing
in your
and
head.
It's not coming out.
No, the truth of the matter is everything sounds fantastic in your head. But sound is made up of frequencies. So you must vocalize to check if your sound matches the frequency.
Okay.
Somebody said you have to teach your body to do what your mind is asking you.
Boom.
So you have to teach. So you have to teach your voice to be able to connect with whatever you're thinking.
And these are the fundamentals. And like I said, fundamentals are hard to learn. That's why at that point, we ask artists to come for training. Come for training. Come and learn the skills. We have found, some of us have found even more comfortable, more friendly, user-friendly ways of teaching you skills than what the music school teaches you. The way the music school teaches is very boring. It's very annoying.
Okay.
But we found a way to teach you the skills so that you can easily adapt.
So must every singer know the skill?
Yes.
Every singer.
The music. Must every person who speaks English?
Yeah.
No. You see, the scales are made up of vowels, and every language on earth share the same vowels.
Okay.
That's why if you learn the scales, you can literally sing in any language.
I know a woman who is not music literate, but she sings so well.
Yes,
very well.
No, but
in
when
your
you say
ear, yes, but then should make certain mistakes.
Good, but let's play her according to the frequency. You may be surprised.
Exactly.
And then you said something.
And then there are people who sing very well in the bathroom. And it stays right there.
You said something about if you're a singer, you should know. But I think that if the voice is an instrument of yours for music, then you should learn that. So, which means that we should broaden it, because even when it comes to rapping, there's a particular. You have to learn to hold your voice in a particular way throughout. And sometimes,
we came up. I sat down with some people some time ago. We came up with a concept we called melodic rap.
Okay.
And we found a way to teach the rappers how to tailor suit their tones to the major scales, the minor scales,
melodies,
the pentatonic scales. And that's why do you think a good number of some of the old rappers started singing? It was the concept. So they realized that, I can rap here and hang in between this interval and this interval. And if I want to open it, I can go up to this place and come. And it's a very simple thing. Like I said, we have tailor-suited stuff.
Yeah.
But you see, when you even say melodic rapper, the people who actually even do that the most are the people who do the dancehall. Because this guy, the raga plus melody is what we are enjoying as that whole thing.
But imagine if
I agree.
No, I'm just saying, imagine if a lot more of our artists decide that, let's do this thing as basic. Let's go through 3 months and learn about skills, musical skills, because it
Did
will
you say
help
3 months?
our
Is
voice.
that like a typical time for?
A typical time within 3 months, from experience.
How many times a week?
2-3 times a week, because when you come to me 2-3 times a week, I give you drills to go and practice. And it's like everything else, like patterns. Sound is actually shapes and forms and patterns. So as soon as you learn do re mi fa sol la ti do do ti la so fa mi re do, now we start asking you, how many patterns can you get from there? You can get do re mi fa so la ti do do re do do ti. You can get do re mi fa so. You can get do mi Mi re fa la mi so ti fa.
It's like permutation.
As many patterns as you can create, is as many expressions you can have.
Okay, that's said. But sometimes the artist will tell you, I could not hear myself in the monitors.
True. That's another thing.
Yeah, but that's a technical thing.
Yes.
That's something we have to add.
In actual fact, that has nothing to do with the artist. It's the man in charge of the sound.
So we're looking at what will happen to an artist to sing off key on stage.
No, the truth of the matter, and I agree that I think it's an excuse. The more Epixode is here. Epixode is here.
Let me.
No, listen.
Yeah.
I think it's an excuse. The more you know your voice. There are 4 rules I give for stage if you're coming to learn this thing. Know your audience. Know your atmosphere.
I don't entirely agree with you.
No, I'm coming. I'm just trying to break something down.
You know what? There are certain places you can stand on stage.
I know you.
The sound is not consistent.
So, let me explain this.
There's a certain delay.
Let me explain this.
Yeah.
Okay, Coach.
Know your audience. Know your atmosphere. Know your material. Know your voice. If you have these 4 things, yes, you can go off. Because, like you're saying, depending on feedback.
Yeah, feedback.
That's why the in-ear monitor is there or the fullback, this thing. If you are away from there, you could hear a wrong frequency and follow it.
Yeah.
But I can categorically state here that the more you spend time knowing your voice and your material, the less you make mistakes.
Yeah. What's the difference between flattening a note and
going off key?
When you flatten notes,
Wow.
A note is like a full tone.
Yeah.
And if the full tone is supposed to be sung and you sing half, either above it or below it, you have flattened.
Good. Okay.
Now, if you go off completely, it's like the music is here.
You're singing
far away.
And
then
Like you're on the opposite side
Yes.
of the...
So I just want us to be able to establish that clarity, and then also the fact that like there's a tenor, there's treble, there's alto, whatsoever, and the lead, the singer now chooses to sing in the tenor or treble instead
voice.
Of the.
but the one leading can choose any of them.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
But sometimes when it's not executed properly.
Yeah. No, you just have to be creative.
See, this is why
as a
practice
leader.
is
The
rule. There are 3 rules for music. Practice. Like I told you, 90 days, 30 days. Don't wait until they give you.
Yeah, but as the one leading, on the soundtrack,
you can weave.
You can weave.
Yeah.
But you can't stay in a particular
For a long time.
You just go.
Noted. But you see, sometimes to people, it's also possible that people don't do it too well, because if you are singing at a particular section, for example, it's chorus,
right,
and then you have your BVs singing. What it means is that the main is being sung.
Okay.
And then it's easier for you to now
do ad-libs and all that.
Places. Yeah. But when you are the only person doing in a particular stretch, if
you are overdoing. Yes. No.
But I understand, Robert.
Here's the reason. It's because they have not explored their voice. So many times, you can attest to this. When people don't explore their voice, they're always looking for shortcuts. And in the process, they want to riff.
Is that life?
Or
people who don't study for exam, they want shortcuts.
There you go. So if it blows up in your face, and that's why I'm quite... because, Charlie, this is an industry.
Yeah, it is.
And it's a global thing. The more we make excuses, the less we will be considered part of the main standard.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I'm just bringing this back because, again, for me, I've also discovered that for some people, it sounds good to them, but they think that it sounds good to the person listening. Because, you see, I am weaving. And for me, it sounds like, oh, you are doing some nice stuff. But the person listening is going like,
but is it also not an escape to some of them who can't hit the rafters? Maybe
it could also be an escape.
You should hit a higher note.
No,
and because you can't go there, let me sing the auto version.
Here's the reason why if you learn your skills.
Yeah, I think you should know yourself.
No, here's the reason why if you know your skills, you will never have that problem. If you check the keyboard, it is a series of ascending notes from low to high. The same cycle.
Yeah.
So if you can't do it here, you can do it here.
Octave lower.
Or you can do it here. You can do it here. So the more you know, the more you can find healthy options.
Yeah, healthy.
Okay.
In between, you don't have to be forced. Or you don't have to force. It's because you don't know. And if you want us to accept you as a professional and give you all the credits of a professional, then we insist that you should know.
Yes.
Wow.
Or else, if you put yourself in a place where people have to attack you and bash you, you can't complain.
Yeah.
You
That's
know
my
what's
point.
interesting? Another thing to bring to light, since we are discussing the voice, the difference between projecting and shouting.
But I mean, I think it's something every musician should know, really.
Good. These are things we should know.
It's so.
If you are dreaming
Listen,
of a
when
career,
you're shouting, I think the church people started the shouting thing.
no, yeah, Charlie. You should.
It comes with the Holy Ghost.
No, it's not.
You know when the Holy Ghost descends on you, you
comes
can't
with the Holy
control
Ghost.
it.
It's not true.
Please, it's not true.
It's not true.
The two of you.
Because I know
This
some
is
people
all ignorance at play.
who would want to listen to some of these.
Well, some church people. No, I had to be
Shouting
specific.
is
Almost
actually
voice
vocal
now.
abuse.
The comes down. You see?
No, shouting is actually considered vocal abuse.
Okay.
So the more we know, and every voice is different. Do you know, every voice is as unique as your fingerprint. Why are you not hungry to learn how to use it? Especially if you're expecting to have a career in it, you want people to respect you, appreciate you, celebrate you in it. You have to pay the price.
Great. Let me come to Epixode. Have you ever been on stage when you went off key?
I can't say no.
Everybody.
Everybody.
At some point.
But I think one thing that I'm able to do is to control myself. Know when and okay, for me, everything you see on stage, before that, I'm one of the people who would stand in front of the mirror with a comb to.
You still do that?
Yes, I do.
Yes, you have to.
Yeah, I do it every day.
Wow.
To do like a pre-production of the performance, to actually test myself. With this,
You have to see it happening first, right?
yes, with the TGMAs,
And you have
with
to
the
see it out
TGMAs.
so that you hear
After
yourself.
the sound check, I recorded the sound, so that was what I listened to till I performed.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
No, but that's
Yeah,
You know-
working with Kwame Dadzie, I hosted a show like that. Part of my intro had to do with the performance. He recorded me, Coach.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I listened to that. So now I'm able to tell that this particular part, where I was like, okay, this part I not go well, so make a tone that place down. Because if you notice with the performance, the ending we had to actually strip it down.
Yeah.
And then we made reference to the horns or the Brahma. It was at the rehearsal that we got that thing.
Okay.
You know, so I know myself. I know that Charlie, this part at the go, this ad-lib would not help me at this part. So let me leave it. If I try way no good, be smart about it. Find a next alternative. And then just like he said,
Yeah.
Know your material.
you know, so yeah, it happens. But then I always go back to watch what I didn't do right, to make sure that the next time.
But then also, being very proficient and consistently practicing allows you to overcome some of these things,
Yeah.
some of these
Yeah.
hurdles.
So
whenever
practice,
you're on stage.
practice,
Yeah,
practice.
Yeah.
That's the three laws.
Somebody will say, look, people wake up every day and they go to work 9 to 5, 9 to 5, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
You've produced your music, the music is gone out there.
Yeah.
But throughout the week, what are you doing?
You are sleeping.
So
yeah.
so you should
them.
also because we keep hearing about Michael Jackson and the dedication he had for stage crafts and how he was constantly rehearsing and all of that. It is for a reason.
That one, did he have anything apart from singing and working on stage? That was his life. Huh?
Yeah.
KOD.
But you
Yes,
see,
sir.
he could have gotten to a point where we say, I've won everything. He
Yeah.
became a superstar at the age of 6.
Yeah.
He could have gotten to a point and say, oh, I don't. But at the age of 50, he was still taking vocal lessons. He still had
Dance
a
lessons.
dance instructor.
Yeah.
I sometimes when I start my workshops, I'll be like, who knows Michael Jackson's dance instructor's name? They say they don't know. I said, but you know he had one, yes. Who knows his vocal coach's name? But yeah.
Oh, but Charlie, if
You understand?
they don't even know, Messi still get Coach Abi.
No, the whole point I'm just trying to say
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
because in sports they found out, they figured it out in sports. But in our field, we're still taking it for granted.
I know.
The vocal cords are a set of muscles.
Good.
You have to train them. The unwritten rule is that all muscles can be trained. Why? Because all muscles have memory. So the more you spend time
Wow.
teaching them certain sequences. So that's why you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. It allows you to become flexible and versatile and proficient, like you said. and it just becomes easy. You can go high, you can connect your lows with your mid, with your high, and it's just smooth. And the more you spend time doing that, and yes, many times you can't do it on your own. So find somebody. Pay them to keep you disciplined. Hold you accountable once every week, twice every month. Do something. Make an investment, something that we can say,
Maybe you're talking about one having an office as a musician, you should make that one of your offices.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Kewadi, so watching a performance, what makes you think this one is a good performance?
It's their control of the stage itself, and in this case we're talking about the VGMAs. Last week
now
was a very huge
now TGMAs.
oh God, we'll get used to it. I mean, we'll get used to it. And the size of the stage, when I saw it the night before, I'm like, wow, how are people really going to utilize the stage? One of the things people, for those who were not very convinced that Kim Promise put up a spectacular performance, there was that pool as part of the stage.
Sure.
And looking at Kim Promise on stage, I was seeing someone who was very focusing on the audience at home. That's what I saw.
Yep.
And it's also something we need to teach our audience to understand, that this production is not just meant for the in-house audience, but it's meant for people at home. I mean, you can tell by looking at the size of the height of the stage itself. For those sitting in front, I could not see Famia's shoes, even though I could tell the guy was wearing some very nice shoes. Do you understand? But then you look at the audience at home, and so if you're sitting in the audience and there's someone performing on stage and somehow they're not able to merge the two, the crowd and those watching at home. For you in the audience, you might think, nah, Charlie, the guy, that they go on well. Because sometimes you can tell the performer is looking at the camera, is dealing with the cameraman, telling you that he's communicating with the audience at home. If you're watching that guy on stage from the audience, by you too, I come here, come see you,
But that's
and these are part of it.
Yeah.
So your control of the stage itself, your antics in terms of what you're saying, your high notes and everything, it affects the audience. You get that kind of vibe, the response from them based on how you sing. Once you don't go flat, they know that the song is sung this way, but you decide to change it a bit. You wow the audience. These are like very little elements that
So since KOD has gone there, I think we just need to be able to highlight what it means when you're on stage in terms of you using the camera. The various cameras are available, because one of the things you need to understand is your audience, the breakup of your audience. So you have to understand that there's an audience in front of you, but there's an audience at home. And then we also have the different kinds of camera, where they're positioned, and the angles, and how to play with all of them.
Do they go through that rehearsal?
No, they don't. They don't.
In
actual fact, there are times you can't even tell from the stage. The lights are on you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's hard to see what's happening out there.
Okay. So there are two things. So you first of all, ask for it.
Okay.
If you have not been told. Because as a professional, you should know what cameras you're dealing with. If you are dealing with the rest of the world and you're dealing with
do we do that with you guys when you're going on stage? I know about the hosts. Like, this is your master camera, you're speaking to this mic, and you are told before you get on stage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that said, even regardless, what I'm saying is that I think it's every artist needs to ask questions about.
But if we put
do
they ask what they should be told?
You guys should.
Yeah, they should be told. They should be part of what you tell them.
I get you. So, for example,
so they don't have to ask.
There were shots.
No,
they don't have. You're not getting what I'm saying. It's your craft.
No, you said you should ask.
So you should ask, even if you are not told.
Yeah.
However, so for example, the people who were like so that the running the camera.
Yeah. Yes.
They practiced the angles that was
Okay. Yeah.
So you realize that Kim Promise was looking into the camera, was dealing with.
Yeah.
In fact, when check Stoneboy's Apotheke.
He did same.
Exactly.
Stoneboy was also looking at
he was, he was
talking
directly
to the mic.
dealing with the camera. That meant that they were ignoring the people who were present because we were standing in front. That kind of stuff. So it's a blend, and I just think that we need to be able to understand all of these dynamics.
But the audience needs to understand that as well.
I know,
exactly.
Know that the production, that production is not just meant for you,
the audience in the
for the audience.
there
are times before the show starts, and I've seen this at the AMVCAs and Cora Awards in South Africa back in the day. They'll come. There's a production assistant who would come and let you know that this production is for TV, not just for the audience. So there are certain things that you might not understand, but still vibe with us, because even when the guy is talking to that camera, there's another guy filming someone in the audience as though they are seeing what the audience are doing.
The person.
Exactly. Yeah. So we need to understand these dynamics.
So
okay.
Maybe we need.
So,
to
Mr. Organizer.
No. So some of these things come up. Some of these things came up. But we do that when we're doing when we're doing the hitmaker and all of those things.
Right.
Inform them.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah.
For TV and the camera angles. If we come back, clap. Everybody, put your hand. All of
But
that.
I think we should do this for.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Especially for those who sit in front.
Yeah.
Those people whose gold bangles are so heavy they can't clap.
Yeah. So what we did was to incorporate it in one of the videos I played. But if it is not working like the way we want it to work, then it means somebody literally has to stand there and say,
Robert, have you realized something at Rhythms on the Runway? We always put the VIPs on the flanks. We don't put them in front.
I know.
Yeah.
Because they can't clap.
Yeah, they won't.
So we'll give you an elevated platform. We'll give you dedicated people to serve you. Get drunk over there and enjoy and laugh out loud. If you can't clap, we'll put those who can clap and have that lively face for TV in front.
And usually there are many ways you can get them. That's where, when you go on radio and do the trivials.
Yeah.
That's how you get the so to speak, the foot soldiers, the guys, and then give them tickets.
Bring them. For one's performance on stage, Charlie, you vibe with an audience. So if you're not getting that energy from them, it can affect your performance.
But we should also learn this quickly.
Yeah.
Then we said, first of all, you need to understand your audience. And you need to understand the nature of the program.
Okay.
Some of the programs are not concerts.
Yeah.
So you don't go onto the stage with a concert attitude.
Yes, exactly.
So if it's a program that you are going to perform,
Robert, for that person coming to VGMAs, once they know their musical performances, they don't think like how
no.
You're right in what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is
but they're not thinking that
you
way.
The artist, if you are giving up something that people need to give, because sometimes you give up a performance and you finish and people need to get up and clap.
Yeah.
It's not about you've gotten to half of your act and then you're expecting that people are jumping. So what happens is that if you don't read your audience properly, you get onto the stage and you're expecting the people to be jumping.
Hey, you know when Epixode at the point the band actually took a break and they were supposed to sing together with the audience, like, hey, this boy he be there,
But so check this out. So Epixode is performing and is giving off his best.
Yeah.
Now the energy is giving off is huge, but he is not expecting the audience to jump before he finishes his act. He still goes ahead and is done and go like, hey. But what happened? The mistake is that some people start and they're expecting some response.
Great.
You understand? So if the response doesn't come, they're like, no.
I was going to give
that's why performance.
We need this information, these seminars. See, there are three types of performance. One to no one. 1 to 1, and 1 to many, and there are many factors.
1 to no one,
1 to 1, and 1 to many.
Okay.
So 1 to no one is like a TV audience.
Yes.
There you go. So it also depends on the kind of material you are using, not just the atmosphere or the event. So there are all these things that come together.
Please
we just need to educate people more.
Make it 4. one to multiple, so that it's a blend of the no one and the many.
But you said many.
Many as in an audience.
Okay,
but
multiple
as in you can have the audience plus the people at home.
Okay.
Yes, so you can communicate. So, but that's the thing. But you see, anytime you are able to define certain things for people, it begins to make sense for them.
Yeah.
They don't even have okay, so it can be seen like this. So it can be when you are able. That's why we need this information. We have to find a way for the A-listers, B-listers to come out and learn some of these things because they are our face.
But I think from an artist's point of view, me going on stage, there are 3 things I also look at. If I don't get you with my intro, the body of the performance, yes, but there has to be a standing ovation. That's what I look at.
Okay.
So now, what's the intro? How am I coming on stage? Is it that I have to raise them to a different level and then slow it down, or start at a lower pace and then raise it? And with what I did with Amache's one, I took the energy that this guy left with. Famille. Okay. So I introduced that, put a dancer in the middle, and then brought it back to where everybody will be calm with that. And that's, I think, with every artist, you need to know, just like you say, know the audience and the particular atmosphere you're performing. Yeah. And then you can structure the performance.
Let me add that. So know your slots.
Know your slots. Yes.
Because
with timing.
The timing. Because again, you need to understand how long has the program run.
Yes.
Are you the closing act? Are you the last but one, last but two? Who is coming before you? Because sometimes, Charlie, so that you use that as a basis for whether you need to, pump up, some to inform a little bit of strategy in terms of execution.
So those things are called gear changes.
Gear changes.
Yes, technical gear changes, or plus emotional gear changes.
Okay.
So every song has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Okay.
Yes.
Every performance must have a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Okay. Yes.
Every verse, every note. If you understand it like that, then you can know how to connect. So like I said, sometimes you just define it and people hear it and say, okay.
Wonderful. 05511119997. Who was your best performer at the Telecel Ghana Music Awards? Yeah, we had Epixode, Efya, Kim Promise, Kim Paluta, Amrado, Eno Baroni, Kwabena, Akwabwa, Stoneboy, Nasi, and others on the night. You can send in your thoughts right now. 05511119997. When we come back from this break, we'll be talking choreography, dance, and other things in performances. We're having a very, very critical conversation right here on mastering musical performances, the art of musical performances. And I have in the studio KOD, Robert Klah, Epixode, and Coach Freeman. Show brought to you by MTN. Everywhere you go, superstar multi-fruit drink. Are you looking for a smarter and a more convenient way to stay connected? Then it's time to live seamlessly with MTN's eSIM. Now, you don't have to carry multiple phones around, because with MTN eSIM, you can have multiple numbers linked to just one smartphone. Yeah. Just dial *#06# to check your phone's eligibility. Download my MTN app or just go to MTN website to request for your eSIM. You can also go to our service centers nationwide to get easy hands-on assistance. So, go seamless with MTN eSIM for convenience and seamless connectivity. So what are we doing today? Now it's the grand finale of Big Chef Season 3. Who takes over from the reigning champion, Fudela, as 6 amazing kiddie chefs lock ladles in the Big Chef kitchen. Join us live on Sunday 9th June at 5 p.m. sharp at the Joy FM car park for the final showdown. Who will it be? Is it Maudem, Jessica, Nadede, Fidaus, Felix, or Emerald? So you at home can support your favorite by voting them to victory via short code *711*60# and follow the prompt. Big Chef, good meals by kids. Joy Prime, the ultimate experience. Now, Pentecost Hour will be on tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Joy 99.7 FM by the chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Apostle Eric Nyameche. Tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. on Hits FM every Monday, 5:30 a.m. on Joy Prime, Saturday, 7 a.m. So do make a date. Tune in every Sunday, Monday, Saturday as Apostle Nyameche brings you live transforming truth that nourishes the soul, ignites passion, and restores hope in the nations. Church of Pentecost, we are possessing the nations for the Lord. Hope says, good evening, Epixode nailed it for me. And he or she is from Oduma Sikrobo. You didn't talk about Akachi Dede performance. Sorry, Amachi Dede performance. Joe 99.7 FM. Who did it for you on the night? Telecel Ghana Music was last week. Send us the name here. 05511119997. Already we are in here analyzing what makes a good performance, musical performance. Coach Freeman is here, KOD, Epixode, and Robert Klah. Now let's get to one side of the performance, choreography or dancing. Must you know how to dance to be a good performer, KOD?
I don't think so. And you know, once people hear choreography, they think about dance moves. It's not dance. No, it's coordination. It's your coordination on stage and how you move per the beats, how you move, how you synchronize. You know, everything needs to be in sync. Yeah, body language, everything. That's choreography. So it's not just learning dance moves and, you know, dancing the same as those your backup dancers. No. It's just how your body syncs to the music on stage, and essentially that's it. Yeah. So for most people, when they're sitting at home and expecting to see a choreography, they want to see, hey, and you're not this aseo, you know, that kind of thing. No. And also depending on the song you play. If you look at Michael Jackson was dancing from beginning to end. Yeah. You know, even the very mellow songs, he had moves to go with them.
There you go.
You know, so we as a performer, as a stage performer, you definitely need someone to school you through that. You need someone to walk you through some of these things. If you're by nature a good dancer, yes, then
like
it
Mr.
comes.
Drew.
Yeah, Mr. Drew. Yeah, that one. It's not no.
He also had a nice performance.
Even Mr. Drew, I don't think he's the one that orchestrates everything that we see on stage.
Okay.
Yeah, he works with the people, so there's someone leading.
Teamwork, team sport.
Charlie, even if Michael Jackson has someone, there's a creative director somewhere. You know, but then he learns to move with the backup dancers. So essentially, it's also part of what you do, unless you're a keyboardist who's just seated behind the keyboard and playing to an audience. Yeah.
Wow.
Even that.
So for me,
posture. Yeah.
So for me, the choreography is like your rehearsed route in terms of how you want to start all the way through to how you want to end.
Yeah.
Take it into consideration, high notes, and all of the elements. So you realize that you've written Mastering the Art of Music Performance.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the art and science.
Emphasizing
exactly, because you see, because you see, art is unpredictable.
Great.
Science is predictable.
Good.
So when we say craft is a combination of the two. You know, so you want to be clear. So this actually brings in stage plotting. This is what a stage looks like. I will start from here. Then from this point, at 5 seconds into the program, I'll move to the middle. At the chorus, I'll be here. From the chorus, I'll jump to this side. Then you can also have the camera folks, trail your, follow your movements, because they can anticipate exactly where you're going to be. Or if there is a particular, assuming that like some pyros are supposed to go off at some place. Or some confetti is supposed to drop somewhere.
Yeah, you should know where to stand.
You should know where to stand. There's this thing about Michael Jackson and him and his shoes and how the shoes are supposed to anchor his movement. You know, that thing that he leans forward. If you go and watch the video, the guy danced and he moved and all the way to that particular slot, nailed it, and then he moved and then he continued. You know,
but I've achieved that thing before.
You have,
yeah.
Okay, we'll look at that in the next.
P.O.D.
But that's
Robert, I get moves over, you know. My only challenge is that I don't know how to learn to dance.
You know, so
I wanted to add something to
Robert's submission.
Submission. In actual fact, music is actually both science and art.
Okay. Yeah, it is.
The original branches of mathematics were 4.
Okay.
And music was the 4th branch.
Okay.
It was known as quadrivium.
Okay.
It was algebra, arithmetic, astronomy, and music.
Oh, okay.
So in the original curriculum, music was the 4th, and fractions were under music.
Yeah.
That's why.
See the 1/2.
Yeah. So actually, it was in the process of teaching performance. You know, when it became 7 liberal arts, and then they divided it into 2. Depictive versus performance. They decided that music was better under performing arts.
Wow.
And then they
that
took
was
it
good
out.
education.
You actually have to know math because everything is calculated. Dance.
Yes.
That's why I say the stage is your office. You have to know how to use it.
Sure.
How to, beginning, middle, and end. Everything must have a beginning, middle, and end.
Okay, Robert.
So in that part, sometimes you watch a particular program and they have some shots. It's just because the person choreographed in such a way that they were waiting, like, you finish the performance, you stand for maybe 5 seconds, so that the cameraman can capture some particular moment. or you know, like you're working with the elements available, or somebody's supposed to introduce something to you, or you're dropping your jacket somewhere, or all of these things are supposed to be planned, so it makes it easier. Then once you can follow that particular route, you are clear on what you want to do, when you want to do it, and what it's supposed to follow. Then people can support with whatever props is needed to be able to accentuate, you know, the performance. So that for me is also key, and we need to be able to project that particular aspect.
Okay, Epixode.
Boss.
How do you prioritize dancers in your act?
Okay, so let me say this first. I started off as a dancer.
Wow, Charlie.
I was part of the Forbent group.
Ah.
Hold on. Did you guys do were you at any of the competitions I was a judge?
Which one?
Miss SS.
No.
That is a Malta Guinness.
Malta Guinness street dance.
Yeah.
Okay, so
he left.
Yes, with Malta Guinness.
Yeah, I was a
started
judge.
music, and I was
He
doing
started music,
songs.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're doing songs for them.
Yeah, because I know that name.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm one of the founders.
They
I'm one of
participated. I don't.
one of the founders of Forbent. Yes, you know. So, and from my mother's side, doing the cultural troops, dancing and everything. We see right now I don't know if you move left and right. but
too much studio.
But yes, if you watch from when I started, I think from base I was 2014, it had always been me with the military boys, with some type of performance. Even if I was not doing from starting to end, there's a particular part where you'd have me do a move, or you flip me somewhere, or you get me. Yes, so I believe that it actually sometimes even covers the flaws of the artist.
Sure.
Because then people are actually watching. If it becomes too much, then the artist need to know where to position yourself so that the attention would not go on the dancers. So I'm always careful about, okay, this performance, do I need dancers?
There you go.
How do I put these dancers in there? I think last year or last 2 years, VGMA launch, where I did performance with the girls.
Yeah.
I just wanted them at the intro, to a particular point. Even with the Rollins tribute, I wanted the girls to, because I was doing koto, which is more like a club kind of twerking song and a dancehall thing. But we were able to find out where to position them so that it don't really conflict. I know that, okay, this particular part, I'll be jumping more and down and they beat me because I want me to take that shot where
So
I did the air inside, so they don't distract. But I think it beautifies the art. Sometimes even that one self, they make your art even nice. You might not even be singing anything. You are tired, but with all those ones, it covers the flaws. Perfect example, Nasi's performance. When there was a little delay before he came out, even the dancer, the militant boys actually made everybody stand up because of the boy. He kept moving and all those things to put us in the mood before Nasi started his performance. So I think working with them works hand in hand.
Awesome. Coach.
Yeah.
Dance.
Yeah.
In stagecraft. How do we prioritize it?
It's a big deal. In fact, if you check, a good number of today's hits have been promoted through dance.
Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's not something we have to debate anymore. You know, dance has to do with communication. It's non-verbal communication, body language, posture, you know, and movements. So, and if you check in communication, whenever people cannot understand what you are saying, they go straight to read your body language.
No.
Which is supposed to be actually communication. Body language has more percentage. Than
Yes, 70%.
Yeah.
70%. So anytime they're not sure of what you're saying, they're checking your body language. So with that, bearing that in mind, dance becomes very, very essential. But like he said, you have to know your material and know your performance in such a way that the dance doesn't become a hindrance or a distraction, but it's synchronized.
It has to be complementary.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Supports.
Okay.
That's the word, yeah.
So that your vocal as well as the non-verbal, you know, connection just makes everything beautiful. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal. We need to consider, you know, raising, you know, this issue even more, you know.
Okay. Joy 99.7 FM, and we're still here talking about the arts or mastering the art of musical performance. KOD, Epixode, Coach Freeman, Robert Klah. Now, there is one thing that is also very paramount in performance: costume.
Yeah, let me first of all big up all the dancers who were on the platform. I mean,
okay,
they really invested.
Yeah, a lot of dancers brought it home. So we have Dance God Lloyd and his team, amazing stuff they did. Mr. Drew and the team that did the performance, Incredible Ziggy and the team that did the performance, and then we also had a Militant Dance Family who also worked with Flawless Girls were also there, and then we had Arenies who were also dancing on the stage. So you realize that dancers were integral part of everything that really happened in terms of the vibe and everything. So I just want to say big ups to all of them.
I know.
And
that on its own was competition too.
Show what you got.
It adds to everything, And they all came very prepared. Oh, DWP also. Okay. Yeah, they also did the performance as well. So and the costuming for all of these folks, I'm coming to you. The costuming were like on point. They accentuated whatever was being put up on that particular stage. One of the highlights in terms of costumes you could clearly see that added a lot of color was Mr. Drew and the costume that he actually put up. The stylist, which is his brother, his younger brother, did it extremely well by whatever that particular thing was, and he had this reflective element, felt like a mirror vibe. If you go and watch the performance, their intro section where they started, the reflection actually had some play on the nature of the floor, because the floor was a bit reflective, so you could actually feel the mirror vibe on the floor. So there's some elements to it. And I think that for me, costume first of all has to add, it doesn't have to take away. And your costume, you must have rehearsed over and over again to be very clear that you will not have wardrobe malfunction, because if you suffer from that, it could be very, very, like it could just take you off your rail, derail you completely, and you can't finish what you're supposed to do. So if I was saying, she knew she was going to split, and so she had to be comfortable. You split, and your costume should allow you to split. Whatever stance you're going to put up, whatever move you're going to put up, it should be able to work well. And you have to choose the colors that also help. It has to be bright, it has to be visible, you need to be seen, if it helps in that particular way. And Efya's costume, in terms of when she was up, the celestial look, you realize that the costume she was wearing, it was flowing and white, and it added to what she was doing, and the light came through to be able to support the entire look and feel. And those are the kind of things that at the end of the day we need to be able to look into to ensure that when it comes to your costume, it adds, it doesn't take away, it rather pushes you to the next level.
KOD, how important is it for us to use or to pay attention to costumes? It's
everything, since we can't go on stage with nude.
Exactly. Exactly. And not just the costume, but the type of costume you use also.
You should look at the event itself. You should also look at even the songs you're performing.
Okay.
Should inform what you wear.
Okay. The songs.
Yep. It plays a role.
The colors actually have meanings.
Yeah.
You check there. Colors, so you can find a way to complement them to your message. And so don't forget
episodes costume played a key.
He mentioned earlier on.
If you look at Episode's costume, it's just like his performance. He did a proper measure of what Amache is as a person, and actually married himself into his personality. So you could see that outfit having that hip dancehall look, but then with that Amache Dede being celebrated on the garment. So he really understood what the task exactly. And for quite a number, I think for me, if you ask me, for the performance on the night, everyone really put up their A game. It was the red carpet that sucked. I have to use that word.
What was wrong with it? Let's go there for just 2 minutes.
Listen, if we've watched what's happened out there, continentally, let's even come back home to the African continent, events that take place in South Africa, in Nigeria, and what have you. We see, Charlie, don't complicate it, especially for the brothers. Just wear a simple black suit, and accentuate it with maybe like a bit of color. Since the event is more red, let's see, maybe some red B. Do you understand? But Charlie, in people's quest to outdo themselves, they actually underdo themselves. Yeah, and I think that there's so much happening around us.
This is fashion review.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's part of it. Yeah, there's so much happening out there that we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Charlie, just go easy.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Kennedy, still, let me digress a little bit.
Yes, sir.
I'll come back to the main topic. MCing on the night. You being an MC, you've been on that stage before.
I think we had like timeless people who were not on the stage for the first time. I mean, Nash of course done this maybe like 3 times.
Yeah.
Chris took a break off hosting live shows. I was really looking forward to seeing him.
Yeah.
On a scale of 0 to 10, I'd give Chris maybe like 7. The only place I didn't seem to get was the intro. They had a bit of a shaky intro, but they picked up. Yeah, they picked up. Yeah.
Wow. I was rooting for you and Dorinando.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Charlie, am I not rusty now?
How did you
At the
feel
turn
about
of the
that?
millennium?
Because I thought 25 years, you are some of the people
I think
that started.
what they should have done was maybe in the last 25 years, you also bring elements of the last 25 years.
Maybe.
So you have the 2 main hosts, which has been done before. There was a year we had Obo and I think Samini on as so they plug in, they come in as plugins. They probably come in to do just one presentation. They come to present one music act and they go. Like what we do our Rhythms on the Runway. You know, they just come up, do a presentation and they're gone. You don't see them again. So you see like the last 25 years, people who were part of the story from day one, because they're all around.
What you were not until the final day.
Oh, but you knew I was coming. You knew I was coming the night before.
No, all I'm saying
he wasn't in town.
I wasn't in town, but everyone.
The time you were making your noise.
He wasn't here.
I wasn't, but I knew I was coming the day before. But you wasn't sure. You were not sure.
But what if your flight delayed?
In actual fact, I almost missed it.
There you go.
Because everybody say my name no date up.
You know, but it's just funny that for most of the things that they, some like were suggested for 25, like they would even work for 30. So it's okay.
Okay.
For 30, yeah.
Okay. So thanks for digressing. Let's get back to the costuming. So apart from the fact that your costume was in the headlines and all that, how did it affect your performance?
I think actually I'll sit somewhere 10 years from now and still go like, yeah, I did it. You know, I'm happy that that little idea that came in my head, you know, people actually see it and appreciate it. You work in a space right now, everybody say, Charlie, the shadow here for auction now, Charlie, the shadow for start do clothing line.
No, but that shadow you for present them to Amachi.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
I think is he taller than you? You guys belong to the you guys belong to the same high faculty.
What you need to do is
you get some small fabric for under. In case Amachi top pass you and then you release Adam. Otherwise make you take 2 shots.
No, but the fabric's still there.
Yeah, so I have
You find a way.
I spoke to him
because I know Abanche, he would wear that too.
Yeah, I was really happy. He called me backstage and then he asked about the
episodes.
Yeah, also has that shatter voice.
So I'm really happy, and for me to actually look in a different space, talking about my creative abilities, I think it's time for me to also look that direction proper. You know, like with everything, even this I did it myself. With what I'm wearing.
Oh yeah, I know. When I saw that,
so yes, it puts me back to the drawing board. Now you've raised this bar. Next year, what will people expect? You know, so and that's with me. I actually have a save where I keep ideas of performances, scripted performances. You would not believe me if I tell you that 2 years ago, the idea I put down for a VGMA performance, I was still trying to make it work. It didn't. So I've put it somewhere. Still,
it is resting.
Researching on how to actually execute it. You understand? So with me, every time I know that I've set this back. No, it has become like a devil to me, where you always have to prove a point with what you've done. You did it last year. You've done great this year. Next year, you should go beyond that mark. So for me, I'm just happy that whatever I taught, like with a little idea that popped in my head, I was able to execute it. And big up to my team for sometimes allowing me to go that crazy road after all the fight.
Maybe the boy is listening.
Oh yeah, he she go talk say why no we no go do. Then she go see me on stage say, hey, so you do
Why yeah? Artist, your ear hard.
Oh, so I think we're just emotional. We attach.
I think creatives are like that.
No, but typically the energy of the creative comes from emotion.
Yes.
Creatives are essentially the feed of emotion. That's why it's if they and that's why, in fact, the concept of having somebody check you is a big deal, because as soon as you get either excited or upset, emotion takes over, and that's why we must find a way to, curtail ourselves, especially in the media space. When somebody triggers something, the media just triggers somebody before beef, and it's really, they pour it out. So because a typical creative cannot do anything without emotion. It's really difficult.
Coach Freeman, I'll not ask you the question. Let me ask you a different question. So most times we talk about the artist going there to deliver. We don't think about how psychologically ready the artist is. For example, you are going to perform. You just heard some bad news. How do you put yourself in shape to perform?
Awesome. I talked about vocal archetypes earlier. That's the essence of having a vocal archetype. The ability to separate, the emotional skill to separate who you are from what you do. I used to train people on radio, and I work in a drama college. And one of the things we tell them is, you see, we don't even know. The people who cast news to us, they have a specific archetype. We just trust them. We never question them.
Yeah, that's true.
True.
What do you think is going on?
Yeah,
it's an
archetype. To be a news presenter, caster, you need credibility.
So it's intentional how they look, and you are not allowed to show emotion.
Okay.
Some of them feel when they're talking about some of those crazy accidents, but no, because people need to trust you. So it's intentional. So that's why you need to understand this concept of separating who you are from what you do. And then when you finish what you do, you can go back and ball. You can,
Let me see if I can denote it in a different language. And it was one of the things I had written.
Okay.
That you have to be an actor.
But every time you're on stage, you're a performer. As a performer, you don't sing.
Yeah.
If you focus on singing, you will miss it.
Yeah, it's true.
You have to think like a communicator. You are acting, you are selling, you are marketing. If you don't think like that, you will always let emotions overwhelm you, and then you will get it wrong.
Do you need to have a psychologist in your team to get this right?
I like this question. I think 2 years ago I met a psychologist, a psychiatrist.
Okay.
And we had a seminar, and we decided to distribute some, for people to feel one of these things. When we read the feedback, Charlie, we have issues.
In actual fact, Kwame, talking about a psychologist, psychiatrist, it should go beyond your stage performance.
Okay.
For people, Charlie, most of our guys like
going through a lot.
Are going through a lot
of things.
Yes.
Yesterday, at the events that you saw me in the morning, Kwame came up and said, we're out there, we entertain people.
True.
We go through so much. Sometimes we even want to get on the trotro, and they're like, the same person we see on TV and celebrate so much. Like, they see you up there, because it's an act. It's like a masquerade. It's make believe, and people think that because you're a musician. Let me tell you this. Like, the number of times people will just DM me on maybe my Facebook for children's school fees and food to eat for the day and things. Like, I'm a normal media.
You don't see you like that. You're a celebrity.
Media personality, fashion.
You see yourself as a normal personality.
I'm not like your politicians. Politicians are supposed to be like us, but they are not. Where we come from. But we're like normal people. So when the public has a certain perception of how and what you're supposed to be, and you also live your life to please them, Charlie, it's a lot of stress.
So all these issues can affect you.
No, it can affect your psyche.
Yeah.
When a lot of people come to you for help and you cannot help,
yeah,
not because you don't want to, and sometimes some of them are very mean. They think you don't want to.
Yeah.
It has a very terrible effect on you.
So I want to situate this as one of the elements of artist development.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the areas, because you see, everything, like he said, rightly said, the art part of your piece comes from emotions, and so you have to safeguard your emotions. And safeguarding your emotions simply means sometimes your team, depending on what time it is, do not even have to let you have some information. They have to keep it away from you until you are done with the performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Because once it bruises your emotion, if you don't take it, you can go off. Yeah. You understand? And in terms of artist development, one of the key things is to be able to clearly understand how to safeguard your emotions. I think people need to be able to learn that, and you need to learn that on all fronts. So even if it's like here we have an interview, for some brands you want to be able to protect the brands. Once you go or you flare, you go out of character, then everybody will go like so it's a matter of defining a character for yourself and falling in line consistently and ensuring that your emotions, you safeguard it to reinforce it.
Right. Someone just sent me something.
Okay.
Something worth worth mentioning.
Sharing.
What merits one to be an award presenter? What should we look out for? Robert, this question is for you. In inviting someone to be an award presenter.
A host.
Not host. An award presenter. As in presents the award.
What qualifies you?
Episode and award.
Yeah. What
should be my credibility, background, what have you?
I think there are many things. There's no one specific answer, and there are many things you want to look at. Sometimes you can have somebody who is respected.
It was a very serious conversation I was in with some big people in this country.
Oh, that's fine. it could be depending on the nature of the award being presented. You could be somebody who is senior in that same category presented to somebody.
Okay.
Or you could have, because again, if it's lifetime achievement, you want to be able to take it from somebody that is also duly respected and all of that. You know. But and then you now have other categories where you are looking for somebody who's well known and prominent within the space. Doesn't necessarily have to be in line with that particular genre.
Okay. Popularity.
You know, yes, it could be popularity. So imagine Asamoah Gyan. Asamoah Gyan presents an award in a different category. Let's say hip life. And then maybe Asamoah Gyan is not necessarily a singer, like, assuming he's not a singer. Then because by his celebrity status alone makes it okay for him to be able to present. Otherwise, then why do you even have a presenter or like a media personality presenting an award to somebody?
Sure.
You know, because again, it is not a media award, but then how is that person presenting it? So the person must have something that qualifies that person to be in a particular space. It could even be a CEO of a particular company who is has what it takes, or commercially if the person is sponsoring. Why not? If the person is sponsoring, I mean, clearly, Charlie, they should be there.
Because by being there to present the award, their brand is being mentioned.
Yes.
Very important.
So quite a number of things, and I think that these are conversations that we can delve into. Somebody was asking me why are dancers presenting dance hall act, and I'm like, dancers presenting what? I said dance hall. I'm like, dance what? Dance hall. I said, okay.
There's a dance in there.
And then later I was like, even forget about that. But the fact is, when it comes to dance, these are like the big, like one of the big, like a part of the big two from the country, and they have global brand. That's one. Two, these two people again are responsible for flighting the music when it comes out. When music is released,
they are also appealing to an audience.
Exactly. When music is released, they flight it, and for as long as they can be seen connected to it, at the end of the day, it also gives some mileage. In fact, it gives mileage into their space, which you may not probably have opportunity to be able to go into. So there are always some dynamics you want to be able to look at, and I know some may disagree, but really there's no right or wrong answer. There is only what makes sense when you're presenting. So that's fine.
Somebody sent
someone
question.
asked me that question. It was a question that came up. I was sitting with some people and they're like, no, everyone that shows up should have credibility, blah blah. I think it's because a name I won't mention, but a particular person that came to present an award and they thought he didn't befit the stage. I mean, these things happen. It could be their opinion as well.
Is there a way they can buy or pick Episode's dress and keep it in their museums? This one says I should ask Robert Klah. Or marry Agirebi Kwesi.
I think what we should have, Robert, before you come in, is probably once we have like a Hall of Fame. Then maybe like a museum. We could have something like that. So you should keep that outfit.
I actually have all my artists from like 2014.
There you go, manager. She counts money.
So Robert, that was a question to you, as in.
I mean, that's something that's worth discussing. I mean,
acquiring it.
That's worth
paying
discussing.
Huge sum of money for it.
That's worth discussing. That's worth discussing. So I mean, that's worth discussing. But obviously, because of the museum that we are working on, obviously we'll be needing a lot of things that can be added to it. You know what, Keori, we're talking about about the carpet. We're like, that carpet that we use, this is the last time we're actually using it. And we're like, it's the carpet that has seen the most, or has received the most celebrities.
But you know that carpet. I like coming to rent it, so you are for me. It'll be very useful to me.
But there's something else I also want to discuss.
Okay, quickly.
Quick one. I call something the what if analysis.
Yeah.
That
What
you always,
if?
Yes, what if.
Okay.
You always have to do as an artist. What if I get on the stage and microphone goes off? What if I get on the stage and my shoe, so something happens to it?
Yeah.
What if I get on the stage and I'm spinning around and I fall down?
Yeah.
I've
What
experienced that before.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
so it's
I
like
have. Yes, I have. I think it was on the same platform. Oh yes, it did. I was with Bella on stage, and my mic went off. It was right from the intro. So we had reconnected backstage. We worked together at Star FM, and also we knew when my lines had ended and when she was coming in.
You have that chemistry.
So we had that chemistry. All you do is you just nod and hand the mic over. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it's the fact that you get into that space and say, what if this happens? So you begin to look for backup plans.
Yeah.
You may not necessarily think about each facet of your act, but anything you are able to think of, if you are able to build a what if, it helps.
But it's not everyone who would also know the right thing to do once
No.
there's a mishap on stage.
Yeah, so that's
from the technical point of view, you can have all the what ifs from your angle.
Yeah.
But for that guy on stage, because that won't be part of the conversation.
True.
That the mic might go off.
No, one of the things I
Yeah.
teach when I'm teaching stagecraft or artist development,
Yeah.
there's a law, Murphy's Law.
Okay.
What does that law say? It says anything that can go wrong
Will
will
go
go
wrong.
wrong.
Okay.
Wow.
So
That's why I don't like
planes.
planes.
That's why I put
You don't like what?
that in your
Plane.
head.
Aeroplanes. I go come on before I sit inside.
So
What if?
I quickly teach you. I just put, like I said, sometimes all you need to do is define something for people, and it's there. It becomes part of their consciousness as they are planning, as they are working. So I remind you that Murphy's Law is one of the biggest law when it comes to stage presence. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. So whatever you need to hold, the most important thing is you must memorize it. You must master it so that when anything goes wrong,
Get a way out.
you are still on top
Yeah.
of the issue. You
Yep.
have to understand.
Some people have issues, technical challenge, and you see them clapping, and everybody join me to clap. It's all things that
It's
you
all-
put
yeah,
in
yeah.
place just
You
to
have-
be
it's
able
called-
to.
that's where you improvise.
Yeah, you have to improvise.
So for me, the key thing is to be able to walk there mentally, and then have a backup plan.
That's-
But
Assuming
for someone
it
probably
happens,
working
and then
on already nervous, which is part of what you experience when you're going on stage, and overcoming the nerves and having the mind to even handle the what if. Charlie, it will be everybody.
Yeah, but there's
But
I
it be
can't
training.
remember her name.
Yeah,
now.
it's training. It's
There's
training.
an old that's where training is.
Yeah.
That's why there's an old artist, American artist. She came up stage, did something. She was doing something and she fell down.
Ochame Kwame.
You know.
I don't know how I missed that.
He didn't fall.
No, in this case,
What did he
No.
He's trying to do a move, but you know that thing you go on your back,
He had a
and then you have to jump, but like
Yeah.
you're
Ah,
supposed
Kwame, I never see say
do.
do. I saw
did
that he was wearing Tims.
Yeah, but
Those are quite
he
heavy.
said the challenge was not
He
the
did it.
teams, but the dress he was wearing, the costume he was wearing, like
It wasn't.
like-
It wasn't the move friendly.
It wasn't move friendly. So he did the stuff like one challenge, the thing no work.
the crown
And so that what if he had to
got
come
off.
up on his own?
and the pendant.
See,
But
Kwame,
then, yes.
Yeah.
Kwame should not forget our age. Oh.
He's a young man.
I know he's young at heart, but we agree.
but then I was trying to explain it. She
Yeah.
did it. Her first, she was on tour.
Yeah.
And in the first thing, she wasn't supposed to fall, but she fell, and then she just rolled on her back and started singing. And the
Sharp.
crowd,
That's it.
so they incorporated it into the show. So throughout the tour, every time she gets to that point,
She needs to-
sings and falls.
For consistency.
Yes.
Yeah.
This be
As soon as it
settings,
works.
proper settings.
If it works, use it.
Chantame.
Oh, wow, I see.
You know, so it's all about. But these are the things they are there. Come around, let's learn.
So
Simple.
I'm speaking too much.
Because the artists are not. Why don't we know this? This information is around.
Epixode. When you get on stage performing, and the people are quiet, sitting down, how do you feel?
Well, it's two things that go into my mind. I don't really think that they don't like the performance. They're paying attention to every move I'm making.
Okay.
So, finish. When you finish, you get the honest opinions.
Okay.
That's mine. You would, as a performer, the nerves will come in. You will be like, Charlie, I don't feel the thing. That be when me.
Okay.
I go show you, say you for film.
Razan.
Growing up, I remember one of my when I was quite like coming up, Labadi Beach. I was performing. That's so that's the away, away. Then I started doing freestyle. Now I turned it that in between the freestyle. I said, when I say away, you say stay away. Then they say stay away, stay. Then now they actually fell in love with that. And I continue the performance. That's why I always say that with me, I strategize based on what is happening right at the moment. I can't always go with what I plan. Yes, I have the plan there, but there should be a backup plan.
Improv.
Say if you catch the state top way, here no they work, here for work. ASAP.
So that's him talking about the kind of music he does. But then, honestly, there are two ways audiences respond to you. Sometimes when it's very overwhelming, if it really touches them, they don't want to clap. They don't want it. So somebody's clapping like, don't ruin this moment.
Watching a Celine Dion performance and you're wait.
So sometimes that delayed reaction is actually immense appreciation. So sometimes, depending on the kind of performance especially if you're doing ballads, if there's a delayed reaction, many times it is immense appreciation for what you did, and they don't want to ruin.
I mean, you can't ruin a ballad.
No.
Some unwanted clap.
No.
You are disturbing everybody.
You can't clap.
No.
I mean, you understand?
Save it for after.
Save it.
Good. Yeah. So artists must remember that, so that they don't always think that the gallery.
Charlie, but listen, man. One of the worst moments is actually being on stage and seeing the face of a hater in the audience. Episode is on before.
You don't like this person.
I know this person is hating on you. Like, they are praying for something to go wrong.
But
that one gives me fame.
But that's why I give it up. I give it up to Samini
You want
any
to
day.
prove them wrong.
That one gives me fame.
I give it up to Samini any day. I think there was one of the concerts in
Guinness Eruption.
when the guy had something. The guy like a placard of some sort.
Yeah.
In there, and then it was against him, and then he actually called for it. Wait, take do freestyle. Straight up.
Give
you know, so it's that thing, Charlie. The guys know
but that takes a lot of psychological.
It's
not everyone that
being spontaneous.
And being extremely witty.
Yeah, you need to be witty.
Think on your feet and achieve the thing you need to achieve.
How do artists boost their confidence, Coach Freeman?
Confidence comes from knowing. Knowing comes from practice, from training. As soon as you know, there's a strength. Knowing is a strength. And that's the strength that gives birth to confidence. The more you know your voice, the more you know how you know what to do with it. The more you know your body, the more you know what to do with it. The more you know your material, the more you know, with this I can put a comma here or a semicolon here, or I can put a ... and translate it to. So it comes from knowing.
There's one part of confidence that doesn't come from knowing.
Which one is that?
I'm not finding the word, but I'll explain and then you get me.
Okay.
You meet certain people who are extremely intelligent, knowledgeable, and they are supposed to share that thing, and they are looking down. They are low spirited. They can't even articulate themselves.
That's something that probably starts from home.
Yeah, I get that, but we need to name it.
So you can be all knowing and all.
It's called,
but without having that confidence in.
But that also, there's a way you translate it. It becomes, if you know what to do, that vulnerability becomes a strength. It's a kind of vulnerability.
I know
but at the moment of truth, like the time that you are actually supposed to deliver, everything that the person knows
can vanish for a moment.
Yeah,
it happens
because the person
knows. It happens. No, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah. Good.
But you overcome it with time, with training, which is what comes from knowing.
Good. Now let me get into that space. Mindset. That mindset that says, because I get you about knowing, but if your mindset does not align,
but if
with
your
the
mindset needs to be aligned once you know.
That's all. Knowing comes from that mindset.
You're here.
KOD, what's your name? KOD, what's your name?
Richard Churchill, Kofi Okyere Darko.
Good. Now you know your name, and you've known it for you know your name. You've known it for what? For years.
Yeah.
And then they ask you, KOD, tell us your name. My name. You've known your name. The person knows the name, but they are not able to say it the way they ought to say it, like people who are confident. So I just wanted to break down the confidence component into
word.
Yeah,
I know.
I understand.
So what Robert is saying,
I understand what
being confident doesn't always
it's a word
come
we use all the time.
Knowing is a part of it, but there's another one. There's another part of it here that we need to be able to identify as well.
Good.
There you go.
That's it.
Self-esteem.
That's it.
Inferiority complex.
Or
it's a complex.
Which is the reverse of that.
Good.
Self-esteem.
Yes.
Complex.
But then, you know, these things.
Self-esteem is something that it's nurtured right from your infancy. You know, when I was in class 2, let me tell you this personal story. Class 2 or class 3, I had this Ghana teacher who always said, "Come in here." Charlie, for my entire 2 years with that woman, that was come in here, and I was new to Ghana.
Yeah.
And then I found out what it meant. So all my childhood pictures of me wearing sunglasses, I didn't need them.
What was in your hair?
My hair is there was something wrong with my eye.
You were hiding your hair.
I know. So right from when I was a young chap, I'd never take a picture without sunglasses. No, because there was something wrong with here. I had to grow to overcome this. So from the onset, self-esteem is something that's it's part of a child, right? From when you're growing up at home. Just one word that someone says.
It can trigger. It can be a trigger. No, but that's why I say there are even moments
exactly
for lack of focus. One of the things that can affect you are not focusing. Something can come. You didn't hear it very clearly, or you are not focused. It can create.
So everyone knows that this guy is on top of his game, but just that special moment when the spotlight goes on him, he's there,
and it's dangerous because in our field, like he was saying, you're only as good. Yes, you're only as good as your last.
I know.
And sometimes your 10% mistake.
Good.
It's what everybody remembers.
Exactly.
Your one mistake.
So check this out. So there's a guy called Anthony Robbins.
Yeah.
He's a life coach, and he's worked with a lot of artists, people in the field of sports and all of that. And what he keeps saying is that there's that there is something called state, as in like the state that you're in, and how it impacts your performance.
It's called it law of moment.
Good. That what happens. So good. So you can explain in that particular way.
Yes.
But then essentially all he's saying is that for every artist, because emotions, any form of emotional turbulence is likely to affect your performance, you need to always know the best state that can guarantee the best performance.
Yes.
So that you know how to orchestrate the state so you can constantly achieve the performance you're looking for. And that is a huge challenge because a lot of us are unable to establish that this is a state that gives me the kind of performance I'm looking for.
Okay.
Here's how to add to that. Just to add to that.
Yeah.
People trust how you sound more than what you say. If you keep that at the back of your mind.
Yeah.
It will help.
Trust how you sound.
People always trust how you sound more than what you say.
As in your tone?
Tone is character.
Tonality is part of
the
message.
It is.
So tone is character. Tone refers to the characteristics of your vocal sound. That's why you can create a character and become the character as a performer and detach from the character right after you perform. You literally, it becomes your costume. You wear the character.
I know.
Great.
That's true.
That's true.
You know, people don't know I'm a shy person.
No.
That's the
You'd have to be very close.
What makes you a shy person?
Are extremely shy.
KOD is not.
KOD is claiming something that he's not.
I am shy.
Robert, I'm shy.
No, you think.
I know I am.
You are not.
Okay.
Whatever is described.
I'm a quiet person.
Sometimes.
Very often, most of the time.
Sometimes. Yeah, most of the time it's part of the sometimes.
maybe your job has changed.
The only time this is when
he's in the microphone.
Yeah.
The microphone.
Everybody, we all.
But
like
once
that.
I leave that space,
we all
every
like
other
that.
time is
when we are by ourselves.
When we sent Sammy B to the Big Brother house years ago, everyone thought, Sammy B, the way you give Sammy B the mic and everything, and there were moments Sammy B was totally lost in the house, like but this will be the Sammy B where we know, because he doesn't have a microphone. He's being himself.
I remember he was freestyling to the cameras.
Exactly.
Sammy B.
Those were the only moments you found Sammy B really up tempo was when he had to perform. Apart from that, he was always on his own.
And some people are there like that. As soon as the spotlight is on them,
yes, exactly.
Come alive.
That's Michael Jackson.
If he moves, he's
off.
He's off.
All right, King Promise and Miss Bell were my best performers. Evergreen, Linda, and Usu. Well done, guys. Okay, now let's take our final words and then we leave here. Any advice you have for somebody who is getting into this space as a performer? Coach, before we go.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. Great.
Get the knowledge about the craft. Find your craft. Find your voice is unique. Find a way to understand how it works.
Great.
And you will get better and better.
Awesome. Epixode.
Everybody know my word is believe.
Exactly.
Yes, I believe in what I do. I believe that few years to come would actually be there where they want us to be. So as a young champ, any aspect, could be music, could be anywhere, just believe and work towards it.
Awesome. KOD.
Once you've chosen that path, you want to be a musician, someone that shares the stage with people. Learn the rudiments that come with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Robert?
Yeah, there's recorded music and there's live music.
Yes, sir.
And live music is essential, and we all need to understand that for as long as you play in that space, you need to master everything about that particular space so you can give off your best. So excellence is attained not just in the recording studio, but also on stage.
Thank you very much, Robert Klah, to you, KOD, Kofi Okyere Darko, who is founder of 1957 broadcaster. Robert Klah works with the organizers of Charterhouse Ghana Music Awards. We had Freeman Daniel Ame, who is a voice coach and artist development executive, and then Epixode is an artist. It's been great having you guys here. My name is Kwame Dadzie. The show brought to you by MTN Everywhere You Go Superstar Multi-Fruit Drink, and it was produced by Philip Nye with support from Anita Tai. Olivier Fangnan was on social media. We're back same time next week to give you another big edition of this great show on Joy 99.7 FM. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Where's Philip? He's 9.